Over the past 3+ years, we've had over 50,000 students go through our individual courses or the full Break into CRE Academy membership platform, which is a pretty big sample size to start to get some insights. And during this time, I've seen some very clear patterns among the people who tend to be the most successful within the job search process and the people who see the most traction with applications and interviews at top real estate firms. So whether you're looking for internships or full-time job opportunities, if you want to get a leg up on the competition and want to know how other people are experiencing success in this process right now, in this video, I want to share 3 of the most impactful action items that I've seen our most successful students and members take when it comes to landing jobs at their target companies and the things that you can do right now to stand out from the pack. So in competitive finance industries like commercial real estate, you need to do more than just fill out an application in order to get noticed. And one of the most consistent characteristics that I've seen among people who make quick work of the job search process is that these people go the extra step in several different areas that are either out of their comfort zone, slightly above their current skill level, or cause them some sort of inconvenience that most people just aren't willing to deal with. And getting out of your comfort zone is directly related to the first pattern I've seen among the people who tend to see the most success during this process, and that is that these people aggressively pursue relationship building and networking despite any sort of fears around hearing the word no. Having a pre-existing relationship with a company or an individual that works for a company can give you a huge advantage over other candidates in getting your foot in the door for an interview. But in order to have that pre-existing relationship in the first place, this usually requires networking up front and dealing with the inevitable discomfort that comes from writing emails and messages to strangers and asking them for their help. Regardless of how confident someone is or even how experienced someone is, most people have at least some fear around reaching out and making requests for introductions or informational interviews, but the people who tend to be the most successful in the job search process are the ones that feel that fear and then do it anyway. The vast majority of people I've seen who have made quick work of landing internships or full-time roles in this industry are the ones that didn't hesitate to do things like send out LinkedIn messages, contact their university alumni office, or reach out to friends and family that are currently working in the industry, knowing that any short-term discomfort now around making these requests would be worth the potential upside in the future that might come from these conversations. These people also usually didn't take things personally if they didn't get the types of responses they wanted from an initial round of messages or emails, and instead these people looked at the process as a numbers game and kept pushing forward until something stuck. Now, this doesn't mean being overly persistent with one specific person or company, but this does mean continuing to take shots on goal regardless of the outcome of any individual outreach effort you make, and having faith that eventually an opportunity will come up as a result of one of these connections. Now, aside from just networking and relationship building, the actual skills that people have also obviously matter a lot in this process, but the way that people end up building those skills and what they choose to focus on matters more than you might think. And what I mean by this is that the people who tend to be the most successful in their job search are the ones that take the time and effort to master the technical aspects necessary to become a qualified real estate analyst or associate candidate, but they don't make things more complicated than they actually need to be before they even land an offer. It's very true that having specific skill sets on your resume, like acquisition and development modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and a knowledge of or certification in Argus can all be helpful in getting noticed by a recruiter or hiring manager, and it's also true that most commercial real estate firms are going to give analyst and associate candidates some sort of Excel exam or modeling case study, which you'll need to be prepared for in order to land the job. However, in the vast majority of situations where a case study or modeling exam is given, the employer is going to structure that exam to test a candidate's understanding of the fundamentals rather than their knowledge of complex deal structures or intricate and rarely used Excel functions right off the bat. In my experience, most case studies are going to assess a candidate's knowledge of concepts like the cap rate, IRR, equity multiple, cash on cash, DSCR, debt yield, and other core real estate finance calculations, which is why I generally recommend going through foundational coursework multiple times until you really understand the concepts rather than rushing to move into more advanced modeling topics without feeling like you've mastered the fundamentals first. Real estate firms are looking for candidates that understand the basic formulas behind the core metrics, but also expect those candidates to understand why each metric matters and how each metric might impact the decision-making process within different parts of the business. And because of that, for you as an applicant or interviewee, staying focused on the foundational real estate finance frameworks and not getting too far into the weeds when your main goal is landing a job, make sure you're spending time on the most important things that are going to be your biggest wins when trying to make that happen. Now, for people who have already covered the networking process and have the technicals down, there's one more thing that I've also found to be a very common theme among people who see the most success in this process, and that is that these people take the extra time and effort to make sure that their resume and cover letters are specifically tailored to each job they apply for. Right now, it's not uncommon in major US markets to see hundreds of applicants within a single day of a position being posted, and because of that demand, companies have to find a way to quickly filter out qualified candidates. And with that in mind, the people that see the most traction in the application process are the ones that work backwards by looking for specific qualifications or responsibilities that are listed in the job posting itself, and then take the extra step to highlight their ability to tackle those responsibilities on their resume and take the time to write a cover letter that showcases their qualifications and how those would directly translate into success within the position. You might have impressive experience or certifications in other industries outside of commercial real estate, but unless the skill set or accomplishment can be directly tied back into what you'd be doing on the job, the person reading your resume is probably going to have a tough time figuring out how that experience would translate if you were to be hired for the role. So your job as the applicant is to make that connection for the hiring manager or recruiter, and your resume and cover letter are in most cases your only opportunities to make that happen. Taking the time to put together a cover letter that clearly articulates who you are as a professional and how your skills and experience translate into a role you're applying for also shows that you care and you're being intentional about this process and applying to this specific job at this specific company rather than just firing off your resume for any open position. So to sum this all up, the people who make the internship or job search process look easy tend to be the ones that consistently work to grow their network even when that feels uncomfortable, the ones that place their main focus on mastering the core technical concepts of real estate finance rather than getting too advanced too quickly, and the ones that put the extra time and attention in to each application they send out with a customized resume and cover letter that makes them a very clear fit for the position they're applying for. So if you're trying to plan your next moves in the application and interview process, I hope you found this helpful. And if you want to make sure that you have everything you need to take on this process within the commercial real estate industry, as always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Break Into CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Break Into CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on this channel on landing jobs and breaking into the industry, make sure to hit the like button and let me know. And let me know in the comments any other career-related topics that you'd want to see covered in a future video on the channel. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.